Zothmary. I'm one of the attorneys here at Flexer Law. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make before they file bankruptcy is thinking that they may not be able to file because you might lose some of your personal property. Most of the time when you file for bankruptcy, we're able to exempt everything you own, which means that you may not actually risk losing any of your property. Most of the cases filed in the state of Tennessee are what we call no asset cases, which means that none of your property is at risk. When you file for bankruptcy, the most important thing that you can do is to list all of your personal property, everything that you own, whether it's tangible or intangible. So personal property that is tangible is going to be things like real estate, vehicles, furniture, money in bank accounts, and that kind of thing. Something that you can actually, reach out and touch. Things that are intangible are things like claims that you might have against someone or an inheritance that you might receive. For example, if you've recently been in a car accident and you haven't decided whether or not you should actually pursue the person that injured you in court, that is still an asset that you should list in your bankruptcy. It's just an intangible asset. The main problem that a lot of people have is they don't realize that these things can still be considered assets, and you may forget to let your attorney know about them. And when that happens, if we haven't properly exempted those assets under the Tennessee state law, then you might risk losing the things that you would want to keep. And that would be your right to recover under a lawsuit or some of your personal property, money in bank accounts, and that kind of thing. The state of Tennessee allows you some good exemptions in order to protect the property that you own. For example, for real estate, if you're a single person, then you're allowed to exempt $5,000 of the equity that you have in your real property. If you're married with children and you're filing a joint case, you can protect up to $50,000 of the equity that you have. There are also exemptions to protect your property if you're over the age of 62 or if you're married without children. These are all great things that you need to discuss with the attorney that you meet with in order to make sure that we're able to exempt all of the equity that you have in your property. As far as personal property, you get up to $10,000 of exemption to protect the things that you own, and that's like your equity in vehicles and your furniture and money in bank accounts. Most of the time, even though it doesn't sound like a lot, it's plenty of exemption to protect everything that you own. Most of the time when you file bankruptcy, none of your property is at risk. Most of the cases that are filed are what we call no asset cases. If there is a chance that you do have some property that is not exempted under the law of the state of Tennessee, then we may opt to file for Chapter 13 instead of Chapter 7, and that way you can protect all of the property that you own.